I am positively Chris Pace, and you are actively listening to Conversations with Chris.
Hey everyone, it's Chris. Welcome to Conversations with Chris. This is my homie Chris, who's going to teach me how to take over the world. Effectively, that's how I understand it, but he's going to tell you what he really does and how he can be the best person to know on the entire planet. So, Chris,
Oh, wow.
tell us about yourself and what you do because I don't understand it, but I know you're the most important person I know.
Well, Chris, what an amazing introduction. My humility will never let me accept that as truth, but because I will tell you this and share my origin story for you. I've been in sales for a long time, and there's more origin that we can get to later,
Yeah.
but we'll start there. And about a little over 2 years ago, it was January 2023. I was like, I lost my sales coach. Actually, I'm sorry, January 2024. I lost my sales coach that the company had paid for, and mindset coach. Her name's Amy Rezchek, author of a book called Sales and Presence. Spectacular person, one of the best sales coaches I've ever had in my life, and I've had a lot, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I started looking. I started looking for another coach. I found a gentleman by the name of Cody Alford, who was the fastest promoted to Master Sergeant ever in the United States Marine Corps, Marine Corps Raider, Scout Sniper, Force Recon. He's been on Sean Ryan's show. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like someone that I could probably learn a few things from, right? Um,
Certainly, we all could.
yeah.
Everybody's got some stories.
He does. And when it comes to mindset coaches, I think it's important and I encourage everyone to get one, is that you look up to that person in some way, like, oh, that's an accomplishment, right? Gosh, yeah. Um,
They seem fine tuned, right? Like that's what
right.
people say to me all the time. They're like, "You seem to have this like calm confidence that just makes you radiant." And actually, yesterday in my interview said he goes, "You know, this was a podcast, but I honestly feel like it was a therapy session."
Right. And it's insight and
Sorry.
perspective, right? No. It's insight and perspective that you have that's valuable. And I think your calmness is what attracts people to you, right?
That's interesting because people have told me for years that my superpower is calm, which
Yeah.
I think that's an awesome thing to say because I haven't always been calm. I found my path later in life, so
Yeah.
as most of us do, right? We were resistant, and we were the opposite of that for a long time. So this is irony at its finest, I guess, and growth at its best. So
Me too. I had to go through anger management in the early 2000s, you
wow,
know.
I can't even imagine that. You seem like such a peaceful guy. Like you're so
you,
easy to talk to.
it's past trauma comes back later in life. Sometimes you don't know why or how, and you just have to deal with it at that time. But I am grateful for a lot of people. My ex probably doesn't know this, but I'm grateful for the fact she made me go to anger management,
Yeah.
right? Because I wouldn't be here today without that. Um, and yeah, I am grateful. So
It's my teaching to people that in order for you to truly say that you love yourself, which means that you truly have the ability to look at yourself and say, I love who I am, I know who I am, and I'm confident in the person I am, you have to become grateful for every single situation that's ever happened in your life because you're the collective sum of all those situations. And if
right,
any one of those situations didn't happen, you wouldn't be who you are today. And so, if you've been raped, beat, abused, molested, it doesn't matter. You have to be grateful for it because that was what it took to make you who you are today. So, that's the only way you can truly love yourself and find the confidence and the calmness that I have. Namaste.
I love that message, Chris, because it's so true. Um, and growth is one of those things that I've realized is a for me, it's a zone that I want to stay in. It's not a comfortable zone, right? So,
Yeah.
um, growing to be able to forgive my ex, and it's really more forgiving myself what I did to my ex and the
Right.
situations I put her through.
Right.
Um, but there was some forgiveness needed on both sides. But to be able to do that to personal growth, for me to be able to forgive The whole entire situation, it took growth in myself, like not being angry, realizing love is the ultimate vibration. Um, and gosh, where I'm at today and what I do really is my passion was born out of this coaching group that I was in with Cody, right? He helped me connect because mind sales is a mindset, right?
Yeah.
And that's really, and it's all about the mindset of the representative going into that conversation. So coaching was really important to me. So I'll find this guy, Cody, keep my sales skills sharp because I'm becoming a better human. And it transformed into something completely different. For me, it was reconnecting with my inner child. Cody helped me do that. And then Cody helped me find this path of that higher echelon. Who does Kris really want to help? Why does he want to help them?
What is your purpose?
What is my purpose? Right. And it wasn't so much the answers he gave me as the questions he asked me.
Well, that's really what a good coach should do. Is not really,
Right.
they're not telling you anything. They're having you ask yourself these questions. And really, when I do it with people, I don't even need to know the answer. All I need you to do is figure out the answer. And, magically, it seems like we have this equation that's just fixes people. But in reality, all we're doing is mirroring what it is that you need to be able to hear so that you can see yourself the way that everyone else sees you, and then you can kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. And I look at it like tile work, and
Yep.
it's not always perfect, so you got to caulk and you got to do a little bit of sanding and grout and that kind of thing to kind of smooth it out, but at the end it looks beautiful as long as you don't get too close. I think you have to have a little bit of humor in everything you do, no matter what it is, like, and if you
Yeah.
always end with some sort of punchline, then people are always having a good time and they're always enjoying themselves, and to me that's probably what will make me a great, well-known public speaker and influencer. As far as, Ben asked me if I was ready for all the limelight, attention, all that kind of stuff. I go, Ben, I've never been ready for anything in my life, but I've made it through everything. So
Yeah,
that's
it's like, let's answer the question, what is ready?
yeah, exactly.
What does ready look
Define
like?
ready. Am I
Yes.
alive and breathing and good to go? Yeah, absolutely. Do I
Yeah,
have any idea what's happening? No.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
I know I've been preparing for this my entire life because I've always known my whole life that I always wanted to be an architect as a kid. I lost that
Mm,
opportunity when I suffered my traumatic brain injury. Little did I know I was actually going to become an architect, just the architect of a new world, not of a building. And second of all, I've always known that I would eventually end up in front of a lot of people because I've never had a fear of public speaking, which is the
right.
number one fear of Americans. So it's like when you grow up that way. Now, that was not a good thing as a child because I had so much confidence that I was kind of a little, I don't know, rebellious, a little defiant. So I had to hone those skills. And like you said, having coaches, taking classes, because, there's born salespeople and then there's trained salespeople. And then
Mhm.
there's people who are both, like me. And
Mm,
then I took all my sales ability and turned it into creating a spiritual path and a lifestyle that is more healthy and more about recovery and about taking care of yourself than it is about selling people. But I always tell people, I have two choices every day. I could wake up and change the world and make it a better place, or I could lead hundreds of people to South America and get them to drink Kool Aid. And
mm,
it's just a freaking flip of a switch of what I do. And literally, I could become infamous or famous, and that's a
yep.
crazy power trip to live with, to know that you have that ability and influence on people, and then to have the responsibility to make sure that your message is clear and always from a position of love. And that's what I focus on, and that's how I stay on my track. I believe every decision you make is made out of love or fear. And if you
Yep.
make decisions out of fear, you're going to end up with all the emotions that come from fear. If you face fears, you get through it. Now you can live a life of love, but you can't live in fear of someone and tell them you love them at the same time. That's not possible. So it's one or the other, and I choose love.
It's interesting to bring that up because feelings to a professional salesperson, expert level, feelings are important.
Yeah,
Feelings are very important. And you're
we
right.
pray on them.
Yep. And so I try to understand, where is this client trying to solve this problem out of? Is it from a source of fear? Like, oh my gosh, there's an auditor, we failed our last audit and we need something better to be better prepared. Or is it love? Like, gosh, I love my company. I love my people. And this is why I'm doing it. Right. If it's out of fear, then it's like, oh, well, somebody else may come up with another solution. So my deal may die. But if it's out of love, right? I love my employees. I love this company. I want to make a better place for my employees, a safer place. Then, okay, all right, great. I know that's from a source of good emotion and why we're entering the sales conversation because a sales, there's so many salespeople, everybody's experienced a bad sale in their life,
Yeah, of course. Well,
right?
there's like so many sales tactics, and like half of them are based in fear, like takeaway close. If you don't
Yep,
buy this now, it's gonna be more money tomorrow. Okay, well, that's not really true. So I'm lying to you and I'm deceiving you, which is not a really healthy thing to do. But then
yep,
there's the sales of love, where creating a win-win situation where everyone walks away happy and you still make some money is an awesome way to sell.
right.
But there's a lot of people that use the fear tactic and get away with it. And I think it's hilarious when people try to do it to me. And I play along.
Yes.
I play along. I'm like, oh, really? It's giving me more money tomorrow? How much more money? Oh, I can afford that.
Yeah, no big deal.
That's no
Yeah,
big deal. I got that kind of money.
yeah.
I like having fun with it. But yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no, sorry. And that's why I really gravitated toward Amy Rezchek's coaching because it's all
Okay.
about and being sales and presence and how does that client or customer feel about this problem they're solving? What you don't know, Chris? That's your job. You need to know this, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Um, and kind of taking it back, and I know I'm getting a little bit of the sales coaching world, but there's a book that came out in 2013. It's called The Challenger Sales Model. Not sure if you've heard of it. It's not about emotion so much as far as the rep being emotional, but the Challenger Sales Methodology is a great book. Just like any sales book, only about 10% of it's relevant. So get the cliff notes, don't buy the book.
Yeah. It's
But there's
true. You can literally skim any sales book and get everything you need out of it.
right, like I think that's a publisher or editor requirement. Like you gotta give us the backstory. Where are you born? Like that's not
Cliff
relevant to
notes
my
version,
sales
bro.
skills.
Cliff notes. That's how I
Yeah, exactly.
graduated college.
Cliff notes. Give me the meat and potatoes of it.
Let me have the highlight bullet statements. I got those.
Hmm.
But it's fundamentals, right? I mean, it's understanding sales is nothing more than people, and we're not.
Right,
Many of us are none of us are sales people. We're in the business of people, and
right,
if you can make and get people to like you, then people buy from people they like.
right.
Simple as that. If they don't like you, they don't trust you. Now you're gonna have a really hard time selling. And people
Mhm.
always said to me, Chris, you sell so much real estate. I go, I've never in my life sold someone a home. You think that I can walk in and talk somebody into spending $250,000 on a home on a whim? No, they're making a decision. I'm giving them the information. They're going to make a purchase of what they want. But I'm not
Right.
selling them homes. I'm showing them homes. I'm educating them on homes. But no one's ever going to buy something from anyone, no matter how good you are, for $250,000 or more because you're a good salesperson. Like
Right.
that's why the good salespeople don't sell homes. Like it's
No,
not, they're in the car sales business or whatever it is. The shady guys, not
yeah.
the good ones, but the ones that think they're good.
Yeah, there's tons of salespeople out there that have ego and bravado, and there's some that are very, very popular. And then you do some digging in on them, like, oh wow, the reason why you're the number one sales rep at that car dealership is because you guys were partnered with the pawn shop. The people would come in and hawk their stuff and then say that's a down payment, and that's how you sold $1 million worth of cars in 1 month.
Yeah,
You're doing something no one else is doing.
that's right. I tried to sell mortgages for a while
Oh
during
yeah.
during the housing boom, and I couldn't do it because everybody wanted me to sell the rate higher and get a
Mm,
higher yield spread on the back end where they can make more money. And I was like, man, I don't feel right about this. Like they qualify for a lower rate. I'm going to give them the rate, and they would get so upset with me because they're like, Chris, you can sell them anything you want. You can make an extra 5,000. I go, I can't sleep at night if I do that. I'd rather just be upfront with them and tell them what I'm doing. Plus, why not give them the choice? Like it's so shady. And so I don't know how people do rest at night like that because I struggled so badly that I did it for like a very short period of time. I was like, I'm going to real estate because it's all direct and straightforward. Uh,
yeah.
which obviously that's all changed now.
Yeah, it has. And I'm glad you brought that mortgage background up because I was in mortgages for a while with a bank called Wachovia.
I remember Wachovia.
Yeah, yeah. So I can spill the beans now. The company doesn't exist.
Yep, they're not there anymore.
Not there anymore. So I can tell you all about the stuffs that happened in my experience. At 32, I was so stressed out in the exact scenario that you described, and I got shingles.
Wow.
32, healthy. I came home one day and I just, trained jujitsu and looked at my back. I thought, oh, I wonder if I'm getting staph. There's this red dot. And I went to the doctor. I was like, I think I got staph. He's like, no, you got shingles. I was
Yeah, you're
like,
like my gi's too tight.
yeah, how do I have shingles? I'm 32. He's like, are you stressed? I was like, yes. And the reason why I was stressed is because I was going against my moral compass.
Absolutely.
And the way I was being forced to, and this is all legal, even back then, it's legal. You can't product steer and mortgage. You know that, right? You
Oh
can't
yeah.
steer to a certain product.
Unless you're a broker.
Yeah, yeah. You shouldn't steer, right? You should say, this is the best one for you. Options, right?
Well,
Um,
that's what you're supposed to do it.
you're supposed to. And Wachovia had purchased a bank called World Savings,
Okay.
right? Which was a West Coast presence. That's why Wachovia bought it, is to get more of a West Coast presence as far as territory. They had a adjustable, what's called pick a payment loan, right? That gave you 4 different mortgage payment options. The lowest one was deferred interest. So if you made the lowest payment option, the interest that you didn't pay got tacked back onto your principal.
Right. So you're doubling up on your payments over the life of the loan. Your 30
Right,
turns into a 50-year loan.
right. So there's this acquisition. It's a very profitable product, right? It was. It's portfolio lending. It's from our own coffers. It's not Fannie or Freddie, not Ginnie Mac for the USDA or VA or FHA. So we're
Unconventional.
yeah, unconventional. We can make up our own stuff and
Right,
own
right. I
underwriting
remember the
guidelines.
no doc loan, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, I remember.
No
God,
docs? You don't have to show any
yeah,
ID?
back then there's this
I
loan.
swear I have a job, and I swear I make 100 grand, and here, give me money.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
a no income, no asset, no employment verification.
yes, no
A
doc.
knee, a knee. I was like, all they need to do is have good credit and equity
Have
or
a
down payment.
700 credit score, and you're golden. You can walk in and buy a house. I was like, okay, this seems bad.
Yeah, this doesn't seem
What could
good.
go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. What could happen?
What
But
could possibly go wrong?
that experience that you described and kind of is a good segue from the previous points that we're talking about is forgiving yourself. Like I hated myself for a long time after that because I was the number one rep selling that loan. I was the first one to close that pick and pay loan in Wachovia Mortgage Center in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I always thought, well, I'm doing good. I'm making sure my clients understand. I go through the calculations for them. I tell them what's going on, but people don't listen.
Nope.
They don't
And
listen.
honestly, they're just nodding their head because they don't really understand anyway. But the other side of that coin is just because you did things that you didn't feel were right doesn't mean that you're a bad person. A lot of times, good people in desperate situations have to make decisions that are not exactly in alignment with their best true self, but they're trying to survive. They're trying to feed their children. And so you do what you have to do. And then when you look back on it and you think to yourself, it wasn't really right. And if you spend time beating yourself up, that's silly because honestly, you were just in survival mode. And sometimes
Mhm.
you're in a mode where you can thrive. Sometimes you're just still trying to survive. And so you can't be so hard on yourself. The first thing you got to learn is forgive yourself, have compassion
Mhm.
for yourself because you can't have that for anybody else until you have it for you. And trust me, I've done so many things in my life that I wish I wouldn't have done. But at the same time, I can't say that because I've learned lessons from every single one of them. Again, right? So we are the collective sum of all the things that happen to us in our life and the collective sum of the 5 closest people we have in our world, which right now is awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Our 5 closest people is amazing. And if I wrote a list of all the qualities they had and all the bad qualities wouldn't even exist. There wouldn't even be a page. And that's an amazing thing. And that's why we're all so confident because we all have surrounded by people who are just as confident that this is an amazing plan. But I do find it interesting that you had self doubt about your role because you
Yeah.
are going to tell us in a moment what you actually do. And I'm going to validate that you are the most important person in the entire organization.
Well, I appreciate that. I do. I don't know if I'll ever allow myself to feel that way, just because I like to stay humble. But
That's
what
cool.
I do, and this is kind of born out of that passion that I had found with being in Cody's group, is I wanted to help veterans. I went to Core Medical's Military Appreciation Weekend, which is a great weekend where vets to get together. There's music, there's food, there's classes, there's camaraderie. And I was looking at this group and these men getting on stage talking to the veterans and how they're helping them with all the things they're doing, like Jason Redman, Cody Alford, Nick Komalatsus, all these great individuals. I'm like, man, I'd like to be on stage someday talking about how I'm helping some of these guys. Like, what could I do? And so I came to the conclusion, well, I'm going to start a company, and I did. It's called Sales Buddy. I really started it to kind of get a tax deduction from the office I'm renting out of my gym. Right? Let's, you know, let's help
Okay.
and get a tax deduction.
Smart guy. You know how I know you're a good person? Because your company's called Sales Buddy.
Yeah,
Nobody with a bad person starts a company called Sales Buddy. That's not a
that's
thing.
right.
You know what I mean? Like it has the word buddy in it. Okay, that says a lot about you. I trust you. Ben
I,
trusts you implicitly, and the two of us are on 100%. I have to ask Ben, I go, you want to be on the call today so you can learn about what Dixon? He goes, no, I trust Dixon 100%. We don't need to know what he knows. He'll take care of it. I go, that's what I thought too. I'm glad we're in alignment. So
we are.
you have our implicit trust, and we know Sales Buddy is our buddy.
Absolutely. And I said, well, what do I know that I could share? Right? What do I know with sales? Well, I can sales coach. And so in the group, I started working with Rob Daniels. He's in our circle with Ben as well. He owns a company called Breath Factor, and he's a Oxygen Advantage certified breathwork coach. And he, at the time when I started work with him, he was really, and he was a personal trainer in like a dingy type, throw the weights around gym,
Mm-hmm.
which is not in alignment with recovery, ice baths, breath work, holistic healing.
Nope, not at all.
So we started, having conversations, just talking about his business. And then I was like, well, let me make some cold calls for you. See what happens.
Yeah.
And so from those cold calls, now he's in a much better gym location, a high end, right outside of Highland Park, which is like in Dallas, like where all the Jerry Jones and all the rich people live.
Yeah.
And he's in a much better environment. It's like, my man, that's when I started getting confidence. I was like, man, maybe I can help these guys. You
Yeah.
know, maybe I can help him sales coach and get somewhere better. And I was like, dang, what about RFPs? That's something I know like really well. I've been doing them for a long time in sales. And for the audience, what an RFP stands for is request for proposal. And what that all that means is when large opportunities arise with either the government or corporations, they make a public announcement of the business they're trying to get services for. So I said, that's a route I think I want to go. RFPs. That's not necessarily the entire story, but the niche, the
It's a
eh,
good summary.
right, and what I want to be. Guess what I want to be is for that veteran like you, or that veteran like Rob, or that veteran that's coming out, that's like maybe struggling with business. I want to be that light that gives them a little bit of hope. I don't care if you got a business and you want to start mowing lawns. There's RFPs for that.
And you have no idea how much you're going to change the world, not just with what we're doing, but with what
Mhm.
everyone's dreams and aspirations are. I mean, I am, I have, suffered a traumatic brain injury, so cognitive decline, a couple of those other keywords, like, stuff that you can't remember. I can't even remember the titles they give me, so that's great. But I've always had a certain level of skill sets, I guess, and things that I was good at. And it seems to me that I'm good at a lot of things, but one thing I'm not good at is monetizing myself. And as somebody who has a lot to offer the world and has a true, genuine heart of love and wants to give the world, make the world a better place and leave it for my sons in a better condition than I came into it, but also has a passion for my veterans. And as a vet, I understand them and connect with them very well. And as a life coach slash the other words you used that I can't remember also, you see, I'm very good at talking, but I'm not very good at remembering. And that's okay because I don't need to remember. I just have to allow it to flow. And that's why I tell people when I do podcast at the end of the podcast, I can't remember anything I talked about. But everyone's like, that show was amazing. And I'm like, really? you should probably listen to it. But what's been great about that is I can watch the same movie over and over and over again. But until I talked to you, after talking to Ben, I was stoked. Like I was like, okay, met my coworker or co-partner or whatever you want to call him, the guy I need to make things happen. And I was like, however, we still have one dilemma. We don't have any money. And then he goes, I want you to talk to this guy, Kris Dixon. He's our key. I go, all right. And like I said, I didn't know people like you existed. I did not know. If I did, I'd be really done some stuff in life, I think probably a lot sooner. But then when I talked to you, I was like, wait a minute. There's people out there that know how to go get money for people like me to help me build what I want to build. And the
Yep.
guy knows how to do it all and has the system set up. And I was like, okay, this is total alignment now because, I think I know a lot of stuff, but I didn't know you existed. And now that I do, I feel much better.
I appreciate that, and I'd like to say I like to think I'm unique in that, and that what I offer. There's tons of business coaches out there that tell you the same stuff, right? But they're going to ask that veteran for thousands of dollars up front, thousands.
Which is impossible. Most veterans don't have any money.
Right. I understand that as a veteran, right?
Yeah.
I understand that as someone who's been poor for.
Right.
So my model is commission only. Like
Yeah.
like and I hope all the veterans that are out there that need help, I need them to hear this.
Yep.
Um, right now, I'm not in the point where I can give you all the veterans out there that need my help the service they need. So my partnership with Kris here is to use this format to deliver my knowledge um, to them, right, and for free. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to take a step back from corporate America, but when I do, the world will know.
I can guarantee you will, and
Yeah,
it won't be long because the first bid I win, I'm putting you on staff and giving you the opportunity to do nothing but help veterans, and I'm happy to give you a salary to do it. And this is an act of love on your part and my part for veterans to educate them. And by the way, guys, this is going to be a series. This is not a one type thing. So
right.
we've been at it for 40 minutes already, and we've just started talking about what he is and how he can do things. However, currently Kris Dixon is no vacancy.
Yes, yes, and part
Monopolized
of
by me.
yes, yes,
But
and
I
it's not
promise I'm going to share him with the rest of the world as soon as I'm done.
yes, and it's not it's out of love that there's no vacancy because if I had more people that I'm working with right now, I wouldn't be able to give them the love that they
Uh,
need.
there's
Uh,
only so much you can do, and you've got children and a family and a life, and you know what I mean. Like you gotta take care of you, or else you can't be effective to anybody else. And it's so important. I thought that was really admirable that you wanted to. You knew that you couldn't take on any new clients, but you also wanted to give them hope and give them and give them the information that they needed so that they would be able to get in line to be able to get helped. And maybe, who knows, you'll be able to train a whole group of people to be able
yep,
to do what you do. And eventually we'll have an entire staff of people that do what you do that we can help all the veterans create their opportunities and get their opportunities in life, which would probably help the suicide rate a lot just in of itself because now people could live their dreams and accomplish them. And that's something that you would create all on your own from what you learned. And that's where the spider web gets so big, is that you have the capacity, and through me and through what we're doing, to be able to create. And that's what I see is salary, hire 10 guys, teach them what you know, and now you can help 100 vets at one time to achieve their dreams, or at least get a shot at them, which is what most people, that's all they're asking for, is I want a
yep,
chance. I want a chance, man. And most veterans will put their life into anything that's given to them as an opportunity, because let's face it, we're the most selfless people on the planet. We signed
yep,
a piece of paper saying that we will give everything that we have up into and including our own life for our country should it come necessary. And when you sign that dotted line, I don't care if you're a paper pusher or you're in the front line of the infantry in your service, it is the same level of stress. Every day of your life, you're in fight or flight, and you think that you're going to die the next day. At least that's how I felt.
no, I agree. Like, who's less selfish than a veteran who's going to give their own life for people they don't even know, living in this beautiful country we have? Um, and kind of, I want to kind of get to the mechanics of some of the things I want to share with the veterans now. So RFPs. Um, First thing you got to do is get a business started, gentlemen and ladies. You got to get your FEIN. You got to get a legit business. One of the things I'm great grateful for partnering with Christopher on is he's already done that. I don't have to coach him on that stuff because that stuff is
I'm ready. I got it all set.
he's ready. But if you're not there yet, those are the first steps you need to take. Get registered, get your business a legitimate business. It only takes maybe a few $100 to do it through your state's Secretary of State website. Once you do that, kind of what we did with you and Tara, we got you registered on sam.gov.
Yep.
Right. What this does, sam.gov is the federal procurement database of potential vendors that the government can buy stuff from. And they also create like a portal that if you want to submit responses to their solicitations, it goes through sam.gov sometimes. So get registered in sam.gov and then get registered in your state procurement sites.
Which, by the way, guys, sam.gov is free. If anyone calls
Yes.
you and tries to sell you a package to work for them or to hire them, don't do it. Okay, those are middlemen and they're making money.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, Chris, because
That guy's still calling me.
yeah, you're gonna and when you start a business, you're gonna get all kinds of solicitation for weird stuff. So
It's so pushy too.
yeah, a lot of it's mail. I got mailed like all this stuff that looks official, like government, federal business registry database thing. You got to spend $250 to get this EEOC poster put up in your place of employment. That is a federal requirement,
Yeah.
but you
Except
can
for
go
free.
download that document
Exactly.
and put it on your wall.
Go to Kinko's, it'll cost you a quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
You can
So
even have it laminated.
yeah, so don't fall for things like that. If you know you're going after government work and you're getting emails from stuff that looks kind of official and it has a .com, not a .gov, do some due diligence and research. Absolutely, because there are companies out there that thrive on people not knowing.
Yeah, we're going to put this podcast out and you guys can come back and refer to this at any point in time, but I'm sure salesbuddy.com or .org or .gov. What is your website?
I don't have one yet, and that's by design, right?
That's because you can't take any business right now, but
Yeah,
we're going to get one up for you that'll have step-by-step process. In order to get Kris Dixon to work for you, you have to accomplish these steps.
right.
We'll,
Exactly.
we'll lay them out very cleanly.
It'll be out. I just I got my machine coming, so I've got lots going on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you've got to assemble. You've got to become a mechanic.
Yes, like this is gonna
You're
be
going to
fun.
put it together upside down.
Yeah, hopefully not. Well, maybe just flip it. We'll
That would
see.
be a good idea. Maybe who knows? Yeah, I think you
Um,
should video it because just out of sheer entertainment, I want to watch you do it.
oh
Because
yeah,
just because you're like, I'm not handy and I'm not mechanical, but I have to do it because I was
yep.
told I have to do it. And so the video of you doing it and a 3-year-old running around, and I just think it would be an amazing video.
It's gonna be comical, I'm sure.
It'll be straw group.
Yeah, it's gonna look like a cat trying to swim, probably, but.
Thank you for that image. That actually summed it up perfectly. That was exactly what I was trying to say.
So I want to kind of take it back to the process, right? My sales methodology, how I want to work with these veterans and how I envision myself working with them. Um, First off, we got to have multiple conversations about what the value is, what the problem that they solve, what is that problem. I want to coach them because they're going to be in those conversations too. Like, hey, you're $50 more. Why are you $50 more than this other lawn service? Oh, well, that's because I actually have a bagger and bag the leaves and whatever the rebuttal may be. Um,
Well, I always say if you're selling on price, then you've already lost the sale.
right, exactly. So sales negotiations, getting their businesses registered in these databases, and then one of the tools I use to find these RFPs is a software program called Bid Banana by BidNet. I know it sounds funny, but these
Did you say
RFPs,
bib or bid?
Bid Banana,
Bid banana.
yeah, or uh, Bid Banana, BidNet. They have like a couple different names in their browser, but find a service that finds and hunts these things for you, or work with me. And what it does for me is like $50 a month. But what a program in it searches, like I want to find government contracts for yoga masters, and oh my gosh, I plugged it in, and what did we find? Chris?
Wow, look at that. VA.
Yeah, VA is looking for I don't
Hey,
yoga stuff.
I
Well, I
gotta
don't
be
want to get
honest.
Yeah, I don't want to
I
give it.
tell this story to people, and I'm like, listen to this, okay? You got to hear this, all right? If this is not alignment, then I don't know what is. The VA wants to pay me to help veterans, and then I'm going to use that money to help more veterans. I was like,
Yes.
is that the most insane, perfect situation ever? I'm like, okay, I don't think there's a better alignment out there. So that's why when you said that, I was like, wow, okay, this is good to go.
Yep.
And pretty well, too, to do what I already am doing and I love doing and what I'm passionate about doing. So I really would have done it for free, but don't tell them that.
No, we're not, because we know what kind of money the VA gets.
Because you're the sales buddy.
That's right. We're not going to talk about that. Um, but use the software to search for those things for you, right? Or partner with someone that does have access to that, like myself. And really, for veterans that want to work with me in the future, it's just going to be great. We have these conversations. I have an understanding of what you want to do and what you're looking to accomplish. Then I create these search profiles for you in the software. And then when something comes up, I'll reach out to you and say, does this sound like something you want to pursue? Um, I also believe in teaching a man how to fish versus fishing, right? So that's why when I get my act together, I'm going to put together, just like you said, these are the steps you need to take, and this is what you need to be successful. I'm going to put it out there for free. Like here, if you're looking for, yeah,
I believe if you don't put in some work to get to a certain level, then you probably don't need someone like you because,
mhm,
like you said, had I not done anything at all, you would have had me go out and do these steps in order to show you that I'm serious about what I want to do. And
right,
so I just happen to have it already done and be at the exact point in which I needed you, which again is perfect alignment.
yeah.
Also, why I need you most. So you're the most important guy.
So that document will kind of be the things to get you to where you're at, right?
Now, is
Um,
there a qualification that a veteran has to meet, or are you going to take clients on based on the size of the project? I know we talked about like lawn care businesses. It would be a great type of thing that people don't even know that there's grants out there for. So, are you going to pick and choose, or are you going to like make a list, or is it first come first serve? How will we handle that? And maybe I have the answer.
yeah,
Maybe you just you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I don't care what the veteran does as far as business. If I can make a veteran's life better, if I can be that beacon of hope, that freaking lighthouse that says, okay, it's going to be okay. You're in some rough seas right now, bro. But guess what? We got some stuff going for you. And if you could, my criteria is just going to be, are they passionate?
Yeah.
Right? Are they going to, if I keep saying, hey, I need you to get this so I can do this for you, I can't do this without that, then I don't have time. There's too many people for me to help than for me to babysit, right? I can't, we're all
Yeah,
adults here.
we put together steps 1 through 5, and
Yeah,
if you go out and accomplish them, here's how to do them. If you go accomplish them, we'll help you with 6 through 10. But if
exactly.
you don't do 1 through 5, then you don't qualify for our help because we can't help everybody. And if you're not willing to invest your time and energy into it, then it's probably not going to work anyway. So we're doing you a favor.
Yeah, exactly. We're
Like
doing
that
it big.
sale? That was a good
Yeah,
one,
it
right?
is. I liked it. That's beautiful
You got
because
to be committed to the project. You got to put the time and work in
yeah,
and get through 1 through 5. So we'll lay it out for them. We'll give them all the tools they need and the information they need, but we're not going to hold their hand all the way through the first 5 steps because if you can't do those, you're probably not going to have a lot of success in business. So
right.
we're helping you out. We're saving you time.
Exactly. And Chris, you could speak to this. A lot of this stuff is easy. It's just paperwork.
It's tedious and
It's
monotonous
tedious.
and
Yeah.
confusing. And honestly, I've sat and read. I don't read well, but it takes me a long time to read. I also
Mhm.
listen well, so that's why podcasting.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of audio stuff on like 501c3 versus nonprofit, state versus federal, and
Hmm.
EIN numbers, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And at some point, I just went, okay. And that's where I got to the point where I was like, all right, I did all the things. Now where's the money? And then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, no money's coming in. I don't even know where to look. I don't even have any idea where to go. I didn't know that there was a bid banana. How do you know that? Like, where does bid banana on the web somewhere that someone's telling you about this? I mean, I've been looking for somebody to give me bid banana for for years. And here
And
comes Kris Dixon with bid banana up his sleeve. So I don't know how you
absolutely.
know, but
And my goal is to help them get visibility like you on your business, right? Because we registered your business, or actually Tara, and Coupa Host. And I'll explain what Coupa Host is for the audience. So When large corporations buy buy things, they need a very refined procurement process. It can't be, well, Jimmy and accounting got this, and that, it's got to be clean, right? It's a lot to manage when you're like a Facebook or an IBM, and you've got, all kinds of vendors for things. So Coupa Host, what this does is it streamlines the procurement process and vendor management process for these large organizations. So they can kind of go in and say, oh, I see this profile set up for this yoga master, the best one in the freaking world. And my employees are stressed out sitting behind their desk 12 hours a day. And we had 5 ambulances come to our facility in the last month. We need to do something. That's when they see you, and that's when they get that visibility.
Right.
So
Right.
this is the I love to fish. So this is kind of the fishing with cut bait method, right? You put it out there, see what it attracts and what comes and bites it.
I'm
Now,
I'm high quality bait.
yeah, exactly. But we're not going to stop with just fishing with cut bait. We're going to do the active retrieval on some lures too, and go hunting. So what that looks like is once we're set up in these procurement systems, we've taken the objection away from a lot of people that we're going to call that are the decision makers. And this is what this call usually looks like if I'm not in the procurement system. Hi, this is Kris. Are you in our procurement system? No, or not. Well, you got to get registered there and all the terms and conditions before I can even talk to you. Click.
Yeah, got it. That was a very good summary, and
Yeah.
I like your acting, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, the phone
Versus,
and everything. You actually acted like there was a phone.
yeah. I do a lot of role plays. I believe in role plays when it comes
Yeah,
to sales conversations all the time, right?
good filming.
That's
I
it.
love it. Very intelligent.
Yes, you've got to practice this stuff because if you're not, you're going to get in that situation where you're in a conversation with the prospect and like, what's the difference between you and these other guys? And if you don't have a good answer, they're going to go with the other guys,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. You got to
Um,
believe in what you're doing first and foremost, and that's really what kind of fundamentally is going to drive you through steps 1 through 5. Is that if you believe that your idea is really worth pursuing, you're going to do the work to get through steps 1 through 5. It's not easy, it's not hard, it's just something you got to do. But once you get through it, honestly, like I said, I had no idea there were people like you out there, and now that I do, it gives me a lot of hope and a lot of encouragement because I thought I had to continuously market myself, brand myself, which I've done pretty well,
mhm.
to make myself visible. But then I still had this like idea that there was just hope and a prayer that one day someone will see me online and want to pay me money to do what I do.
Yeah,
It's not an illogical thought process, and I was going about it the right way. I just there's a more efficient, effective way to do it, and you know how to do that. And so
yeah.
instead of having to spend years of your life trying to get someone's attention, you can just come on and get Kris. Blah.
That's right.
Not yet. We'll change the vacancy
Not
sign.
yet. Yeah. Come to your podcast and get all the
Can't
data
you
you
reach
need.
him through me because when I take him out of corporate America, he'll be working for Best Yoga. So just gonna
Uh,
tell you right now, he'll be on staff.
awesome. I love it. Um, So, RFPs, bid banana, all this stuff is how you find it, right? Getting these registries, getting in these vendor procurement sites. There's every state has one, just about. There's some states that will like band together and create their own procurement site. Like I think Idaho, Washington has one that Idaho will backpack or jump onto every now and then. So will California, Northern California specifically. So get everybody registered, get visible.
Let me
Right?
ask a question. Do you have to be a 501(c)(3) to qualify for grants? Or can you just be a state nonprofit?
Um, I think it depends on the grant, right? Everything depends on the grant itself, and grants are separate than RFPs. Grants right now have a little bit dried up or been paused since the whole new administration has come in. There were a lot of grants out there through USAID. Yeah, those are gone.
Yeah,
um,
I think those got kiboshed in the whole, Doge thing.
yeah, they did.
They weren't
And
being used effectively.
and this is not a political conversation, but that's why we're seeing some of these grants like go away. They're going to come back.
Yeah,
They're going to come back,
they were just
especially
misused.
yeah, like what we're talking about. And I don't want to spill the beans on the thing that we're working on with the VA, but that thing that we're working on. I don't even want to say too much information about it. It's a clear sign of the political change in the environment. right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
um, yeah, getting these businesses registered, getting these veterans registered in these databases is the first step, right? Like what we're going to do with you, what we're doing with you. The next step is, okay, great, we're registered, so we've taken away that objection from the city of Norfolk, Virginia, on if you're not registered, we can't work with you, right? So now the call is, hey, we're registered. This is the problem that Kris solves. It's a big problem in every workspace in the world. Is this something you guys are interested in possibly solving in the next, few months or year, whatever it is? And it's a simple call. It's an easier call versus, I got this objection. I'm ready to hand it to you. Boom. Now you can't do anything with it because you're not registered. Now you got to go bye-bye.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You're like, and sorry.
Yeah,
So it's one of those easy eliminations, right? They're looking for that one. They're hoping that you're not registered.
exactly. Exactly. So that's part of the strategy. The other strategy is, well, wow, we can't register with, um, trying to think of one of the biggest companies in the world, Coca-Cola, because they've got their own procurement site that they only invite people to. Oh man, so now we got to develop a different strategy. What do we do? Well, we find out who the key decision makers are. Well, how do
Okay.
we what tools and resources are out there for that for veterans? Well, let's talk about LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn is a great resource.
Yeah.
Specifically, if you pay the extra money, LinkedIn sales, yeah, the premium LinkedIn Sales
Free for
Navigator.
veterans for a year.
Yeah, get it.
Get
Get
it.
them,
You
get
can
it.
spy on people. They don't know you're looking at their page. It's very cool.
Yes, yes.
I'm
Get the
not
link.
encouraging that. I'm just telling you, you could.
Yeah, don't do the professional stalking thing. That's not.
You can message people even if they don't want you to.
Yeah, don't do that.
And it's like a game of hide and seek because people are also sneaking on your page and you're sneaking on their page, and it says like there's people are there hiding there. You're like, man, this is fun, but also like it's harmless if you don't unless you're like barraging people. It's probably
Right.
gonna happen to me, right? Like people are gonna start messing with me. It
Uh,
already.
you- yeah, you're gonna get weird. So I've already received some weird social media messages, and I'm like, no. Uh,
It's a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy. If they
but
can't spell or put capital letters in the words, it's probably not legit. I would
right.
say the post office, the IRS, and the DMV don't text you.
No, no. That speeding ticket.
We'll put out some safety notices and we'll give you some advice. That's for sure.
That's right. Um, but definitely understand the tools that are available. Right. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a big one. Another big one is Zoom Info.
Okay.
And this will help you with like the understanding the structure, getting actual email addresses for these people because not everybody puts their email address on LinkedIn. So Zoom Info is a great resource as well. Now I'm going to talk.
Chris, let me ask you a question real quick because we've been
Yes,
at it for an hour.
yes.
Do we feel like we're at a point where we want to pick this up next week and carry on, or do we have a stopping point in mind that you think would be a good place to call it?
Um, there's a few things I just want to kind of get the breadth of software that people should be
Perfect.
looking at, and then we
As
can
long as
do.
you have a plan, I'm good with it. I just wanted to
Yeah,
make sure you had a plan.
yeah, yeah.
Because I
That's the plan.
don't, I
Let's
have
talk
no
about.
idea how many steps there are. So I'm like, so I
Yeah,
just
well,
wanted to make sure you had a game plan so we didn't ramble on for 2 hours and next week we only have 30 minutes and whatever, you
yeah.
understand.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. My goal is today talk about all the different softwares that we should be looking at, and then go deep dives into each one throughout the
Perfect.
series. So,
Perfect.
LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Zoom Info, Showell, SHOWELL.com. Oh my gosh, digital sales rooms is a technology that everybody needs to get on. The company I work for is looking at them, but the company they were looking at like got sold, so it's like delayed the process of deploying it. But a digital sales room is going to give you the capability of taking anything digital as far as a presentation in a library, compress it down to a specific presentation you want your viewer to see in a static URL. So static website. So
Okay.
you send this thing out with all your stuff that you want to talk about. And we create different folders for different things. Like for you, Kris, we're going to have a folder for and show for maybe yoga classes and yoga instruction and all your fees for 1 hour yoga sessions with the best yoga master in the world. And then maybe we're going to have another one for, okay, this is the one we built out for RFP responses, because this one has things that they're going to ask for, like your W-9, your proof that you're a service connected disability veteran, all the stuffs that you need to send.
Yeah.
So we just send it to the appropriate people when we do, and we're organized. Because when you present in an organized fashion, they're like, "Gosh, these people got their act together." We want to do business with them.
They're organized, yeah. And hey,
Yep.
guys, just so you know, if you are disabled and you're part of the VA, they make it real easy to access all those documents. They're all on an app and they're all at your fingertips. So I got to give the VA credit on that one. They did a good job with their new apps, and I have access to every document I could possibly need that says what exactly, and I can even select the items I want to be on the document and the ones I don't, which is really cool. Like,
It is. I do believe the VA is starting to step up their game some. I really do. Um, and yeah, that's essentially the process. We get you registered. We get you the key points of contact within the market you want to go after. Then we create these digital sales rooms. So now you can just start campaigning for whatever it is you want. And when I say campaign, let's hit it like a MAGTAF, military talk, Marine Air Ground Task Force, right? So we're going to hit them with email. We're going to hit them with socials. And then I'm going to hit them with a phone call. Hey, I see you saw Kris's documents on how he's a great yoga instructor, or yoga certify your yoga instructors, whatever I'm calling about. And then the pitch is not a pitch, is, hey, what are your thoughts?
mhm,
Right?
get some feedback.
Yeah,
Without them.
exactly.
Now, are you allowed to negotiate? Like, hey, do you want to be on his podcast? Because he's got a lot of followers. Like,
Yeah.
is
Well,
that legal? I don't know. I'm just saying, hypothetically.
whatever the vibration feels good is the direction I'm going to go. Right. If I'm talking to someone like, man, I'm feeling the same vibration that I'm feeling from Kris, man, this person is really speaking the same language Kris is. Maybe we all need to do a podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Right. And then all of a sudden, we got new teammates.
That's right.
That's kind of how this all happened.
Hmm. It is. It is. And the biggest thing I want to be for those veterans is a little bit of hope, man. And I'm not going to be the sales business partner, sales buddy that's going to say, give me some money and I'm going to give you the keys. I'm going to say, let's work together. I got a keychain. And if we win, then pay me.
Yeah. No,
Commission only sales rep.
I mean, I didn't even negotiate the commission. I was like, yep, whatever you want. Not only that, I'm taking it one step further, guys. I'm going to employ him to help you as part of the money that I get from whatever I get from my RPG. No, wait, RFP. No, what?
RPs, yeah. RPG. Oh man.
I
Oh,
was hoping you caught.
incoming.
I was hoping you caught that. Little military joke there, guys. Sorry.
um, yes, and gosh, it's just
It's such a
you,
hopeful thing, and honestly, like it literally was the answer to all my prayers to know that somebody out there, first of all, has the knowledge and understanding of how to go about this. Second of all, has the heart to dedicate himself to veterans. And I'm serious. I'm going to hire him and put him on my company and make him available to veterans. And hopefully he'll be able to train other people to help him do what he does so we can help more veterans. But again, we're going to have a process that people need to go through, because I also believe that you have to invest in yourself in order for other people to invest in you. And if you don't do that, then it shows that you're probably not ready for business. And that's not a diss or a knock or anything else. That's just simply smart business skills. And as somebody who's trained and taught and managed and sold and marketed most of my life, I know for sure that if you're not willing to fill out the entire application, you're not going to be a very good employee. If you
very
skip
true.
lines, you're not going to be the guy I want. So, it's amazing how many people don't fill it out entirely. And I'm like, do you think we put these boxes with words in them here to make them optional, or did you not have an answer to where you can, and like I've never done that. I would at least write NA, because in the military we have to fill everything in.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's very important. And honestly, just finding out what you're doing, I was like, immediately, I was like, okay, thank you, God. Prayers came true. There is a human being out there because, you're the perfect alignment of the knowledge, the information, and the heart that it takes to do what you're doing and have the idea that, you know what? A lot of people you're going to do a lot of work for and not get a penny out of. And that's why I want to make you available to veterans regularly so that you're not ever struggling to help vets. And so I'd like to put you on salary so that A, I can keep track of you and you can't get away. B, I can make sure that these guys get the help that they need because that's really what I want to do too. So it's our passion together. We already know we're working together. We already know we're going to be successful and we already know we're going to help vets because when you do anything authentically, you'll always be successful.
Amen to that.
Write that down.
And yeah, exactly. And kind of taking it back to what is the criteria for me is, man, just match my energy level. If I'm doing all this work for you and I call you, I'm like, hey, to get this bid, we gotta do this, this, and this. Where you at on that and that? We got a deadline coming up.
Oh yeah. Well, I would probably take it one step further, and there's going to be a level of requirement for volunteer work or for something around the office to learn and to be a part of the process as well. Because, in my opinion, it's important to, like you said, teach a man to fish, don't give him a fish. Because
Hmm.
you do everything for him, like even in this process, I won't remember the stuff that you teach me, but it's still important that I watch and go through it because I do need to understand how it all happens and why it happens. Plus, I really like the name Bid Banana, and now I'm a big fan of it. So
It is funny.
I
Like
don't know. I like banana, like Minions. So, but yeah, no, I think it's just amazing that I think that if we create a proper step program for people to go through, it'll just prepare them to be more successful. All we're doing is giving them an opportunity to succeed, and
right.
hanging out with us is a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah, two goofballs named Chris, two bald
Yeah,
guys.
you can change roles and you won't know who's who. That's
Yeah,
totally my plan. When I don't want to be executive director, I'm just gonna let Chris do.
that's right. Give me the red
Chris,
glasses
you're
and
in charge today, bro. You got the white, you got the red glasses and the black hat on.
there we go. Yeah, we could do switches. That'd be fun.
I think that's amazing, and I think together we will be able to put together something that'll be really efficient, really effective, but also give them the tools and the skills they need. And who knows? I mean, there's going to be a lot of collaborative ideas out there because anyone who's trying to do something in the world, veteran-wise, is probably going to have some sort of tentacle to another organization that we are working with, know about, or have connections to.
Yep.
And that is what makes the world go round, and it's what is missing in the veteran community is there's no opportunities for veterans to connect with other veterans to get opportunities to do things. And there's a lot of downtime and confusion where people are just sitting around going, hmm, I have a really good idea, but I have no idea what to do with it. Now they're going to go, you know what? We just called the Chris's.
Yeah. What do they think? How would they respond to this objection? Where would
We'd
they
like to
go?
be on the Chris's podcast.
Yes, please. Let's get the. And I'd love to do that. Interview veterans, understand what their passion is about, like what problem they're trying to fix. Help them with their value pitches because, I've had some conversations with quite a few entrepreneurs after being in Cody's group, and every single one of them kind of does the same thing. They will give me like a 10-minute speech about what they do, like all the data. And it's beautiful. I love that. I want that because I need to understand what it is you're doing. But when we go to talk to the public about what you're doing, we got to condense that. We got to bring that down to like a 2 to 3 word statement that makes them go, "What are you talking about?" Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's so important that your tagline and that your keywords are effective, but not lengthy. Because
mhm,
it's so, I mean, it's the difference between like, if you can fit 9 letters on a line and you try and put 10, it doesn't work, and that's like, that word won't work. You know what I mean? I feel like Wheel of Fortune. We've
yeah,
got to get the number of letters right, and they've got to be a word that makes sense, but also is understandable, so we can't use like the thesaurus and break out all these expensive words that no one knows what they mean, right?
yeah.
It's got to be logical and also fairly simple, I would imagine.
Mhm.
Straightforward, I guess, is the answer.
Straightforward, and it could even be a question. One of the exercises that Amy Rezchek had me go through was when I was training with her was when you give a value proposition, do it with a question. ask a question. And I was like, what? I've never heard that because I've always lived on I had the, I help my clients solve X by doing Y formula, which works, right? It's like, that's like white belt, blue belt level.
Yeah, exactly. That's beginner stuff.
Yeah. And then when I started working with her, I was like, holy shit, Amy. Yeah. And I sell to HR professionals, right?
Nice.
And the question I came up with was, why'd you get into HR? It's a rhetorical question
Sure.
most of the time.
Because nobody goes into HR on purpose.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
We all know that's not where you intended to go.
Exactly. Why'd you
That
get
was the
into HR?
available position, and I had a degree. So,
And the answer is to never do background checks. This is what I sell. Right. The answer is never to do background. Well, I wanted to get into background checks. No, most people get into human resources because they want to help people. They want to be a people person, or they got pulled into it somehow.
or there was no other job available, and so they, were qualified. I think it's sort of like the whole like asking for the sale, which I had to do one time with a client, and he knew what I was doing, and so
Mhm.
he played the game with me, and I sat there for 23 minutes waiting for him because he who speaks first loses. So
Yep.
once you ask for the sale, you can't speak. And then
Right.
it comes down to like a staring contest, but not like and you can't make it an uncomfortable one. You got to make it like I'm just here to help. So whenever you're ready, I'm going to say, not going to say anything until you talk. So we literally sat there for 23 minutes and the guy's just staring at me and he's like, he knew what I was doing. He was playing the game. He was going to buy from me anyway. He was just messing with me and literally sat there and just stared at me. And I was like, don't talk, don't talk, don't talk, don't talk, don't talk, don't say anything. Stay confident. I got this. I got this. Like it was really difficult because you want to be like, what are you doing? I gave you the pitch. Now buy or don't buy, but whatever.
Yep.
And it was such a great training exercise for me because in my head, and I use this analogy a lot, I was a duck on the
Mhm.
surface of the water. I looked like nothing was happening. But underneath, I was kicking like hell to keep myself afloat. And literally in my head, I was right. I mean, I was absolutely going nuts. But on that surface, I was as cool and collective as I could possibly come across. I don't think I was as cool as I am now, but I think I was pretty cool. At the
Yeah.
time, I was cool for my level of coolness.
Well,
But he totally messed with me and then totally was like, okay, you got it. He
that
just
that that is a great story because you just described what I call the power pause, right? Silence, in my opinion, is more important in a sales conversation than speaking.
Well, there's a reason we have two ears and one mouth.
That's right. That's right. And that's what a lot that I learned and relearned with Amy Rezchek. She's a phenomenal sales trainer, author, tours the U.S. doing keynote speeches and stuff like that and trainings. So I probably will, as I'm helping veterans, reach out to her and say, "Hey, I'm helping veterans. Would you help us too?" She'd probably be willing to because her husband's a Green Beret.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure we got some really quality sales trainers and people on our staff already, but we'd love to have more.
Oh yeah. It's like me bringing in my master, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I can tell you that synchronicity would say that um, uh, my new VP, Ben, just sent me, guess whose phone number it just sent me and connected me to? The first name he brought up today.
Amy,
Nope.
Cody, really,
While we're
dude.
on the phone right now, having this conversation as you're talking about him, boom, came through Cody Alford. So,
No way. This is insane, dude.
so I'm going to have a conversation with him.
That's awesome. That man, he's
I'll,
not,
t- I'll go ahead and put out your good kind words so that way when we talk, I can play this back for him.
man. Yeah, absolutely. So,
Tell me all the goods on him. What's the goods? What's the goods?
the goods is he's man, it's so hard to wrap up all the different areas that he helped me improve my life, family, perspective, connecting with my inner child, and realizing, it's funny. I'm gonna tear up. Um,
That's
I
okay,
saw,
man. Emotions are good. Feel those,
yeah,
let them happen. And also, you know what? When you're speechless, it says everything. You don't have to give an answer. Sometimes not having an answer says everything you need to say. And your reaction right there told me everything that you have felt and you went through I'm going to say every emotion that's available in a matter
Yep.
of a second. And I watched it happen and I watched it go over your entire body and face. And so sometimes no answer is an answer. So don't
Hmm.
feel like you've always got to explain yourself. Feelings towards someone that passionate says all I need to hear. And without saying a word, you told me everything I need to know. And I now believe in the guy 100%. I now know that he's a solid individual who made a difference in your life. You're
Yep.
somebody I respect and trust. Therefore, he's somebody I respect and trust. And you said all that without saying anything. So it's okay to not say anything. And it's also okay to have those emotions because, man, there's people that have touched my life in ways where I'll be honest, I'm a crier. I cry a lot, but
Yeah. Me too.
that's it's because compassion and love are so beautiful to me that when I see it, I can't help but cry. Like I'll sit on Instagram and watch people do kindness acts and cry like a baby for hours because it's so beautiful to see people be kind to other people. And I don't know if I'm the only person who does that or if there's a lot of people that do it, but to me, it's just absolutely one of the most pure and authentic and real things. And it's what's really inspired and pushed me in the direction that I've gone. If I feel that much emotion for watching a 30-second reel, what could I feel if I applied that same kindness to the world on a massive scale? I'm just going to
Yeah.
cry all the time because of the amount of people that are helped by this entire system that we've put together and that I'm fortunate enough to be a part of. So like I feel like I'm building the ultimate Instagram reel for me to cry from. And when this is all done, there's never going to be a day I'm going to retire. This is going to be my life forever. This is what I want to do. And I'll never stop doing it until the day that I'm taken off this earth and I ascend into the next transition.
Amen. Amen. And to give you, I thought of something to share with you about Cody to tell you a little bit about how I feel about him. So, Military Appreciation Weekend this year in February. Cody's like a celebrity there. Everybody wants his time. So, I finally got some time with him, and I told him, um, before I joined his group, I never saw a badass when I looked in the mirror. Never saw a badass, right? I
Same
just
here.
saw, yeah, I just saw like a corporate slug and father, and never saw a badass. Cody, Cody helped me see that I am a badass.
That's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful. And you know what that means? He's a mirror. He's a
Hmm.
reflector. And there's only 1% of the population that are reflectors. You know who else is?
Mm.
Me. You know
Yeah.
who else is? Ben.
Yep.
All of us are mirrors. We show people who you really are because of our ability to reflect your qualities and traits back to you. And if you're not full of qualities and full of bad stuff, most people run from us as fast as possible. And so I
Hmm.
know exactly what you're saying. And not for nothing, being a dad makes you a badass by itself. Being a veteran makes you a badass by itself. Being a sales buddy owner makes you a badass by yourself. Doing jujitsu makes you a badass by yourself. So next time you doubt that, all right, I want you to run down that list again and look it up online. See if it says jujitsus are badasses. I guarantee you it
Yeah.
does. I guarantee you it says that about fathers. I guarantee you it says that about veterans. So you need to remember that and never question yourself. That's just a word of wisdom from little old me.
Thank you. I feel that, and
But I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm sure Cody will be as honored as I was to hear you say it and the way you said it. You know, authenticity and truth, man, is so beautiful, and to give someone gratitude and to show someone appreciation is really the ultimate payment for what
hmm
we do. I don't care about money. I don't care about anything except helping people, just like you.
right.
And we have that in our nature, and the ultimate payment is seeing the gratitude from somebody who we help. And so I know that when I talk to Cody and I share that little clip with him, he's probably going to cry too. Because
I
we're
don't know.
all sensitive people, but we're still badasses.
Maybe not. He's seen me cry so many times in his uh,
Yeah, dude. I mean,
sessions.
yeah, but I mean, it still touches you, like
Yeah.
honestly, every time someone reaches out and says, "Hey, I can't thank you enough for what you told me 5 years ago when you tried to help me and I wouldn't listen. And now I've changed my life and I put it on track. And I am so grateful for knowing you. And you've always been there. You've never turned your back on me. You've always forgiven me." And I'm thinking to myself, man, 5 years ago, what did I do? But in reality, I'm going, I changed his life 5 years ago, and I never gave up on him. And that is why he ended up eventually having success. And in his mind, the things that I said were constantly going through his head while he was going through those years. And it took 5 years for it to actually click. And here I am, moved on. Like, okay, I haven't talked to the guy in ages, right? Like, he's had his journey to go down. But when he came back to me, it sort of made me realize, man, I have to be very careful about what I reflect and what I say to who I say it to, because we don't know the ripple effects of what we say. And if I don't give people the proper information, which is why I choose to make all my decisions, give all my advice from a position of love. If it doesn't sound like I'm loving on you, then I'm probably not giving you good advice. And that way I know that I'm safe to give advice to people, and I feel confident in that advice because I know it's coming from a place of love, which is how I divide good advice from bad advice. If
Right.
someone gives you advice and has nothing to do with love, it's probably not something you need. Like,
Right. You're
just
exactly right.
as a rule of thumb, I'm not saying there's not, and you can never use the word always. I hate the word
Yeah.
always. It's not a thing. So of course, there's going to be some certain time where fear comes into play. Like, I don't know, maybe a robbery or something, but no, it was just to know that I had made an impact on someone's life and changed their life and helped them to, and not even realizing it. Like I had pretty much given them some information, some guidelines, and some encouragement, but also he wronged me. I forgave him. I let it go. I moved on, and I continued to check on him, which is something that I do that not many people do. I
Mhm.
forgive people over and over because you know what? I expect people to do the same for me, and we are
Right.
not perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. And if you get rid of every person that makes a mistake, you ain't going to have anybody in your life ever. And so, what is it? Like he who is without sin cast the first stone. Is that how it goes?
Right.
I know that that's not me. So I'm going to forgive because I hope you'll forgive me when I mess up. And I learned that lesson and I've done it so many times. And honestly, every time I do it, it makes me feel a little bit better about who I am and what I'm doing, and a little more secure in my methodology of helping people. And so you really don't realize the benefits of doing things like that. Holding a grudge or not forgiving someone eats you alive from the inside out. And
Yeah.
yet you think that it's hurting them. They don't even know that you're upset. Like they're not even thinking about it. Meanwhile, you're over here like, and why? Why? Did you expect them to be perfect? You expected them never to make them, you know what I mean? Like, now malicious behavior, okay, we've got to stop that. That stuff can
Right.
wait. But people are going to mess up, man. And if you give them forgiveness, sometimes just forgiving somebody for something that they did. And, I don't know if you watched Ted Lasso. Have you watched that show?
Hmm.
And when she came and confessed to him, and he goes, I forgive you. And she's like, what? And it like blew her mind, right? Like she couldn't believe that he was able to just forgive her. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to carry that around. He didn't expect her to be perfect. His results weren't based on why she hired him. His
Hmm.
results were to show up and do a job, which he did. And so she didn't stop him. She just made it more challenging. But he embraced the challenge. And when she confessed, you know how hard it is for people to confess they made a mistake? Oh my gosh. It is like torture, And then to forgive them? Whoa.
Yeah.
Whew. Boy, you want to talk about some people that will break down quick. Boy, I mean, they are not expecting that. But forgiveness is the ultimate kindness because it's saying, I understand that you made a mistake. And I understand that you're sorry for it. And I see that. But I forgive you. And now we can move on. You know why? Because we don't live in the past. We are not the last chapter in the book or the current chapter in the book. I tell people this all the time, and we'll end this podcast at an hour and a half. Holy cow. We crushed it. We're the Chris's. Tune in
Yeah.
next week. But Kris has a lot more information for you.
Yes. Yes. I've got one ask of the audience, if I could, for our next episode and
Absolutely.
preparation for it. So next episode, I'd like to pull up BidNet and go through it.
Can we
Right.
pull
What?
up Big Panda?
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, BidNet. Is BidNet? I don't know how they got this in the name. Like, I think BidNet is the company and Bid Banana is the product. I don't know, but it is funny. I'd love to log into it, and if the audience can say, "Hey, I'm in lawn care, or I'm starting a laundry business, or whatever business, except yoga."
Except yoga. We got that one covered. We
We
got
got that one
podcasting
covered.
covered also. We
That's
also
right.
we actually have a number of other things too, but come up with something. I'm sure I don't do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Whatever business they're in, we'll do some searches. I'll show how it works, and then we'll send the information to that individual that sent you the request.
Actually, I know some veterans I can call that'll probably have some really good ideas for us. So
Sweet.
maybe we'll include them in the show and have them a part of it. That'd be great.
I'd love it. I'd love it
Yeah.
if I can, like I said, be
There's
that
no shortage of
lighthouse.
veterans with ideas.
Exactly. I'd love it. I'd love to have that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. So we'll do that. I'll set that up, and I'll get a couple guys to join us individually, so that they're not sitting here for an hour and a half while I talk about Bib Banana and how fun it is. I just love that they named it Bib Banana. I think I'm going to name something banana just because it's banana.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well,
Hey, look, if
I'm
we're not having a good time, we should not be doing it, right? Like, that's the whole point of what we're trying to accomplish here. So, yeah, if you're interested in being on the show and you'd like to be a part of next week's episode, hit me up. I'll do what I can. We just need
awesome.
steps 1 through 5 ready, and we're using Bid Banana requested on the app. Kris, I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being on the show. Honestly, like, I learned so much. I won't retain it, but I did learn it, and I'm ready to help in every way I can possibly help. And I believe that that is the gift that I have, is that I find ways to help people achieve what they want to achieve, which is exactly what you're doing for me. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I know the other veterans out there are going to as well. So this is a really powerful tool, guys, and this is something we can utilize to help us achieve the goals we have in life, which most of us have a lot of goals. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I'm looking forward to next week's show. Again, hit me up, bibbanana.com. All right, man. I'll talk to you later. I've got some more calls to make, but have a great night.
Awesome.
You want to say goodbye?
Yeah, I do want to say goodbye. And I just want to first off say thank you, Kris, for giving me this opportunity and this platform to put my message out there and kind of be the shield with the amount of volume I could receive. Because I don't want to have any sort of diminishing returns.
I'm going to be the buffer for you, buddy. I got you.
Awesome.
I'm good at that kind of thing. So,
Yes,
I'm like
sir.
expediter. It'll be a lot of fun, man. We'll have a good time, and you're going to help a lot of people, which is really the most important thing. And I believe this is really going to make a difference. And you're going to be known by a lot of people for helping them to have achieved their goals, which, just like you just went through that emotional moment right there, someone who
Mhm.
changed your life, you're going to do that for other people. And that's what life is about. Pass it on, pay it forward, however you want to say it. Do things, kindness, make me cry. Okay? That's what I want.
Yep.
So thank you again. We'll do this next week. Same time, same place.
Same time, same place. Love you, brother.
All right, brother. Love you too, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Remember, you're a badass.
You're a badass too.
See you, bro.
Later.